Hello everybody, it's time to roll to win. I apologize for my pre-trip video not getting loaded correctly right before my trip. It's now on YouTube. It's a routine I try to go through before I go to a casino. This particular trip, I took a very limited bankroll for 3 days, well, 2 nights, 2 days in total, more or less 48 hours. I took $3,000. To some of you, that's not going to seem like much at all. And to others, that's going to seem like a huge amount of money. Wherever you are in your game, that's just what I took, and I had a purpose for only taking that much. I wanted to see what I could do using discipline, well-managed bets, and hopefully decent shots. So I've got a couple of things to show you and tell you about on my trip. This is kind of a debriefing exercise. The military always debriefs after an exercise, so I'm debriefing after my trip, kind of going through what went well, what didn't go so well, what I was proud of, what I was not proud of. Now, to give you an example, I've got 25 on the 4. I've got 2 sets here. I've got a $30 6 and an $18 6. Some of the tables I played on were $15 minimums. When that was the case, I always played 15 on the 6 and 8. And I played 4s and 10s with a quarter each. Nothing on the 5 and 9 unless they started hitting early. I did not bet on random shooters except either the 6 or the 8. I might branch out. We got a story to share, but I would only bet the 6 and 8. And I did not press the 6 and 8s until I had them both paid for. Now, to give you an example, when I was playing on a $15 table, I'm just going to walk you through a couple of 3 hits. The first thing I did was I handed the dealer $3 because that bet won $21. When it did that, they would take it and they would take me to a $42 bet on that 6 or 8. On the next hit, I would hand them $1. They would pay me $50. Alright, so I started with 18 and 18. 2 hits later, I'm at profit. I did that on myself, and then once the bets were paid for on a random shooter, I would do the same thing. The next hit, they would take me to 90. Hand me back $1. The next hit, they would pay me $105. All right, so you got your initial bet goes to 42. Next bet, same bet. Next bet, 90. Next bet, collect 105. So 4 hits. If you get 4 hits on the number, you've picked up $155 additional dollars off of that 6 or 8. On the 4 and the 10, as they play the same way, first hit, I would give the dealer $1. They would press it to 50. I'm videoing. Grandkids getting a little rowdy outside there in the garage. Alright, so then we would go to 50. My bet's paid for. They've given me $50 or $25. I've got a $50 bet that's free. Next hit, give them $2. They give you a black chip. Then I would take and hand them 2 green chips, or just tell them to take it to 100. Either one. Alright? I like hanging on to black chips when I can. Sometimes they would just take that down, put a black chip. Next hit, hand them $5. They would give me, I think my grandchildren got me messed up. Start out at a quarter, 1 hit, collect 50, go to 50. Next hit, give them 2, yeah I was right, 2, they give you 100. I would go to 100. Next hit, give them that, they give you 200. And I would go to 150. If you want to be more aggressive, go straight to 200. Typically, the highest I generally got was 300. I tended to try to keep part of the winnings every time. Again, start on a very limited bankroll. You never know when tragedy is going to hit in the middle of a game. Or you're going to lose discipline. So I took money off the table. If the 5 or 9s hit, I would do same bet. Then press, I would go $25 or $30, depending. If it was a $15 table, we'll do it that way. $15 table, $30 table. First hit, drop $1, they pay you that. Here, they pay you 21. Collect it. Or go to a quarter. Go to 25. I preferred to keep 21. Next hit, when they paid me 21, I'd go to 25 and follow this progression over here. Ended up, when I was staying at Harris, and they did not have any of their full-size craps tables open during the week. Little disappointed that they didn't have them open at night. I expected them to be closed during the day, but they were closed 24 hours. All they had was a tub. Tub is basically an 8-foot table, and theirs is known to be a very, very bouncy table. I've had good runs and bad runs. It's a love-hate relationship with that stupid table. On Thursday morning, I got up, went downstairs. It was the only table open, and it was completely empty. I went to stick left one, which is basically I was in the hook left of the dealer. I did a very simple, it was a $25 minimum table. Every time I rolled, I started with $110, 4, 6, 8, 10. I used my best even numbers, die set, and it didn't take me long. I got really kind of lucky. I mean, it's like shooting from right here, except a lot of bounce. If you want to practice for a tug and you got a 12-foot table, stand it stick right to and shoot to the wall. That's about what you got. Or stand at the dealer area of a table and shoot to your right or to your left. That's really all you got. And and be prepared for it to be a trampoline. I had several good rolls. I was on the table by myself. I never hit the all tall or small. They've got a new bet that bets extreme numbers. It pays 70 to 1. They've got a bet that if you just hit all these numbers, it pays 12 to 1. I played with those. I ended up not making the bet for these. I figured a $5 bet's going to win 60. I can use that. I can win that out here myself. So I put the extra 5 on the bet that pays for the extremes. That pays 70 to 1. So if I'd have had my $10, if I'd ever had hit it, it'd been a $700 hit. But I didn't hit it. I needed a 3. Closest I came to hitting them all on that one was I needed a 3. Could not roll a 3. I probably rolled 15 minutes trying to hit that 3. One time when I only had $5 on it, I hit the small and I hit all the extreme numbers, but I needed a 9. I laid the 9. I laid $600 on the 9 to lock up a win on the tall side. I 7'd out, collected the win that I locked up by laying against the 9 number. All in all, that morning I walked away. I bought in, I think I bought in for either $800 or $1,000. I walked away with 4 pumpkins. I had $4,000 in my hand when I walked away. I went to breakfast. I came back. Table was still open. I thought, well, I'll try it again. So I bought in and picked up another $800. Then I walked. Also had an interesting run at the Hard Rock, which has no bonuses, and I only went there because the Beau Rivage tables were packed and they didn't look like anybody was going to leave, and I had driven over there and it was late in the afternoon. So I opened up the table. They were counting the bank and they told me they'd be open about 15 minutes. I went and got my free play, came back, and they were waiting on me. Well, I started rolling, and it was my best roll. There was the first roll right out of the bat, hitting lots of my even numbers, and I don't know, it was an upper teen, low 20 type of roll. But I was hitting, my points were scattered, so I never really got super pressed up, but I was also collecting as I went. And then a couple came in. bought in right next to me, and he was trying to show the world how rich he was. I'm sure he probably was not, because he only took a $1,500 marker. And then he was complaining about why it was taking him so long to bring in his marker. But the girl that was with him, she kept, every time they'd push the dice to her, she'd pick up the dice. She would look at the dice. She would set it down. Whatever her decided, she would do the next one. You've all seen it. While she's doing that, he's sitting there going, Mr. Big Spender. He's holding out, he wanted to make a field bet. Instead of placing the money down on the table, he's sitting there going, dealer. They'd go, what? He'd go, field bet. They'd go, bet. And she's still sitting down here doing this. So as soon as she'd throw them, then he'd set them down. Did that over and over and over. I almost walked away. It's really getting on my nerves. But she was having a decent roll, and I started with a $30, 6 and 8 on her. Got them both paid for. Probably made $200 or $300 off of her roll. Then the guy in the hook, I went to the one hit can't miss. I put $25 on the don't pass. I put $30 on the 6 and 8, regardless of what the point was. I think he hit one of the numbers, paid me $35. Then he 7'd out. I won another $25. I couldn't, it's a small win. Kept me from spending a lot of money on other people. Nice and safe. So did the one hit can't miss, one little bit on him. The guy in the far hook on the corner and the turn down there. Did that. Had a little win on him. Guy in the other hook, I did the same bet. One hit can't miss, 25 in the field, 30 on the 6 and 8. And then there was a guy, stick right, and he was bowling the ball. He was bowling like a bowling ball down the middle. He was trying to set them, and I think it was, I don't even know what it was, but his dice just rolling them down through there and hard. Well, he established an 8. I had 25 on the don't pass, placed 6 and 8. He hit the 6. That was a winner. Okay, I'm in good shape. He hit the 6 again. I said, you know what? Same bet. Then he hit the 8. Won that. Lost my don't pass. So then there was a decision to make. Do I go ahead and do this again, or he's hit this stuff? So I did not do a don't pass or a pass. I have already won 3 hits. So I went to 30 on the 5. Right? I'm still playing off my winnings here. And I put a quarter in the field. He rolls a 9. Dealer pushes it to me. I said, place the 9. He rolls a 10. Dealer pushes it to me. I said, place 4 and 10. He placed a 4, and he placed the 10. And before I knew it, that 4 right there was pressed up to $300. I had $300 on the 6. I had $150 sitting on the 5. I had had 200 on the 10, and I had 80 on the 9. I don't remember what I had on the 6 on the other number, because I kept moving them back and forth. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, like, if one would hit, I played it for 60. So ended up walking away with an $1,800 profit. I rolled one more time. It was only about a 5 or 6 number roll. I said, color me up, I'm going to my hotel. And had an $1,800 profit. So you never know when lightning's going to strike on a random. And playing that one hit can't miss strategy allowed me to transition. I took profits, and then all of a sudden this one guy hit, and it allowed me to transition right into a place bet game with him. My problem, the only problem I really had was had a lot of money left when he 7'd out, but he kept hitting these outside, and he kept hitting all these pressed up numbers, and I was under pressing on this 4. That 4 under normal circumstances would have been at least 500 on it when he 7'd out. So because I kept taking either some full hits or partial hits back to the rack, because you just didn't know how long that lightning was going to last, and it lasted a lot longer than I expected it. When someone is just down there, they pick them up and do that. And that right there is what he was hitting, 4s. What I just rolled there. But it was a good trip. I managed to take my my winnings off the table. I did not do well at all on the morning of on Friday morning before I came back. I went to the tub. My spot was taken. I knew I shouldn't have bought in, but I did. I went to straight out, tried a couple of tosses, lost both tosses real quick. Went down to the IP. Started out very well. I had some free play. They let me put the free play as a combat. I hit the combats, 4s and 10s again, with just a little odds on them. And then, just like a faucet had been turned off, the table went totally cold. Ended up losing a little bit. And then I had a good 4.5, 5 hour drive home. Fuss at myself for even playing that morning. But I guess greed set in a little bit, because I had put a lot of I had more than doubled. I had winnings more than double what I took. Taking 3, I had over 6. My goal when I got up Thursday morning was, let's see if we can take a little bit of this cash. I got about 6,000 or 7,000 in winnings. Let's see if I can make it into 10. Well, that didn't happen. So I'm not a miracle worker, but it was fun. I was pleased with my discipline. I was pleased with my betting progressions. I was, for the most part, pleased with my toss, especially on that little 8-foot tub. So if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, I wish you would. This is something I'll continue to do, is kind of I'll go through my pre-game, my prep again as we go along. When I return from the trip, I'll try to give you a short trip review on what happened, what worked. If you go to Mississippi, if you go down to the Gulf Coast, you'll have a good time. There's not a lack of casinos, and for the most part, with the exception of Harrah's, there's one or two tables open at most casinos. Harrah's has the tub open. Friday afternoons they open up the other tables through probably Sunday night. But anyway, I thank you for watching. If you would, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell your friends about me if you're so inclined. I appreciate everybody who takes time to watch these videos. And remember to practice like you play, so that you will play like you practice. And then if you do that, you will roll to win.